You're Perp back with another video, and I just got done checking out From season 1, episode 8, and I gotta say, this was a episode I was waiting for but didn't expect to get, especially certain things that kind of play out. I was not expecting that as well. I appreciate everybody that's been commenting on each one of my reviews. Keep them coming, and I'll have more content from coming in the near future. So this episode starts off. We get a lot more backstory on Boyd, which I did not expect. I was waiting for. I was thinking that they were going to probably save it for like season 2, but no, they get right into it. You know what I'm saying? But Boyd is about to head out, and he wants Kenny to pretty much step up at this point. They kind of have this like, he kind of yells at him a little bit, just a little bit. Then he ends up going to Sarah, taking Sarah out of the cellar and saying, "You're coming with me," which that whole little adventure should be interesting. Now let's get into a little bit of Boyd's backstory, because they kind of sprinkle it through this whole entire episode. His wife, Abby, this is the first time that we're seeing her. They're just driving on the road, but then they see the tree in the middle of the road, and they see the crows, just like everybody else. And while this is going on, Sheriff Boyd is letting Sarah know, like, if none of this is real or if shit goes left, I will not hesitate to pull a bullet in you. You caused a lot of people to die. So he's kind of feels resentment for Sarah, but there's a connection here, and there's a reason why we're getting Boyd's backstory in this episode. Meanwhile, back at the town, you got some people at Colony House living with Jade and Kenny. And Jade's kind of, he's typical Jade, being an asshole about it, but he really wants to kind of find Victor and see where he's at so he can kind of give him some type of answers. Meanwhile, Julie is really kind of traumatized by this whole situation. She's just kind of really shooken up. Jade comes barging in, unannounced, gets thrown out of the house by Jim and says, like, "Are you crazy, bro?" It's just like, this is not the time to do this. Yes, this tower thing works, but, we're going to have to find a higher point to go get a signal. But then going back to probably one of my favorite moments, I really enjoyed how this all came about, where they're stuck like the Matthews and they're just driving through this town. Then they come across Father Crabtree, and they're already kind of alarmed by his presence, and Abby does not hesitate by pulling out a gun. Father Crabtree's like, "Yo, look, that sound that you just heard was death, and it's coming." I love that line. That shit was hilarious. Then we get a quick little scene of Christy and Kenny interacting, him trying to return this book. And I like them. They make a really cool couple. I just wish that Christy wouldn't kind of friend zone the homie Kenny and just be like, "Yo, you obviously like this guy. Make it official." Maybe they'll do something with that in a future season. So Jade and Jim go to Donna at Colony House because she's picking up pieces of her people, because the highest point is Colony House, so they want to build a tower there. And there was way more than just 4 or 6 people that died. There was 14 people that died at Colony House. I was like, wow, that's sad as hell. So they want to set up shop there and build the tower and see if that can work, if that's a way that they can possibly get out of this place. So as Boyd kind of leaves Sarah to pretty much stay in this little cabin while he gets supplies and comes back, we get to see the aftermath of what happened, when Boyd and all of them stayed in those little bunkers. And that's crazy that they're literally staying in these little bunkers. This is before they even got the talismans or anything like that. And it just makes sense for Boyd to be the one to kind of create some type of structure because he has that military background that we find out. And we also find out that, Abby was a Marine. So it just all makes sense why people put a lot of their trust in Boyd. Now, there was a scene with Ethan looking at this picture of this man and a dog. I don't know if that has any correlations or connections to what we see later with Boyd's character. And it's interesting with what was it? Victor's character, because I feel like his drawings are kind of like premonitions or things to happen that haven't happened yet, or things that have happened that are going to happen again. Also, another sad kind of reveal that we get in this episode is what happened to, Tabitha's baby, or Julie's younger brother. And what happened is the baby fell off the counter, and I think that's what ended up causing the death. And it's really sad seeing Tabitha, like, can kind of describe this, and how her and Jim kind of just fake liking each other, or just fake loving it, and just acting like nothing was wrong, but everything was wrong. So, but I think this place is bringing them back together. So, like I was saying about Abby, she has this military background, but they've been at this in the town for like a week or some weeks. It started to take a toll on Abby, and Ellis notices this because she mentions something about, I remember having this dream as a girl, and maybe now she's starting to have the same effects as someone like Sarah or certain people that could hear these voices. This is definitely the point where Ellis and Boyd started to stop seeing eye to eye, and where Ellis was concerned about his mom, Boyd was just more concerned with just going out there and trying to figure out how they can get home, almost like an obsession. And I like Kenny's scene in this as well, where he kind of steps up. He's like, no, you told me I had to step things up. Now you want to stay? No, go out there. You need to go find out how we can get out of this place. And he even tells Donna, like, you need to be the scary asshole that you're used to being. And I really like that about Kenny's character and how he really stepped it up in this episode. Going back to Boyd, as he gets himself lost, and this is how he kind of stumbles upon the talismans and whatnot and what they're able to do. Because imagine, you're following this dog, which I don't know if that picture that Ethan was looking at has any connections to what happened to Boyd or something like that. But imagine putting yourself in that situation where you just automatically just get lost in the woods. This place will play mind games with you, and then it's dark and you're out there by yourself. Nothing but a gun, and a gun can't really do nothing, but he's able to find all these talismans. Here's something I didn't expect to get in this season, where, Boyd finally confronts his son Ellis about just everything and just how he's been feeling. He knows that not everything is right. He doesn't want Ellis to sit there and hold grudges against him and wish he shoulda, wouldas, and you know what I'm saying? Because tomorrow's not promising. Boyd knows this. He goes out there, he's putting his life on the line. So now let's get into what was kind of referenced in episode 7 about Ellis's mom, or should I say Abby, and how she kind of went off the rails, just killing people, just shooting up a bunch of people in town. Thank God that Boyd gets there in time, but he could have probably avoided this if he listened to Ellis. And I feel like this is where the connections between Abby and Sarah are coming along, and I feel like this is what Boyd is kind of going to have that connection with Sarah when we get to episode 9 and beyond and stuff in the last 2 episodes. Let me know how you guys feel about that. I like those parallels, because Abby was sitting there talking about, like, this is the only way that we're going to be able to get free. Same thing that Sarah was doing, is killing people because she thought that this is a way to get free. So I really like that. I feel like that was really well put in there. It was sad that it was Boyd was the one that had to take out his own wife in front of Ellis, because Ellis was about to die. Donna was also about to die in that moment too, but they were saved just in the nick of time. Overall, very sad scene, man. It makes sense why Ellis is kind of distant from his father, because you killed his mom. You know what I'm saying? I could see him kind of having this built up anger, and which leads us to have this really dope moment with Ellis and Boyd, where he pretty much tells everything that's on his mind, and they kind of mend things. But he does know about Sarah, and Boyd's like, "Yo, don't tell anybody about Sarah, because that's gonna, you know, cause some shit." The episode ends with, Colony House in town just not being a thing, and then them just becoming a community, and you see Kenny stepping up, and also Jim's also stepping up into a position. So it definitely seems like wherever Boyd and Sarah are going, they're in for a trip. I don't think that Boyd should have handcuffed her. I think that's just kind of foreshadowing that she could possibly die. One of those characters are going to possibly die, and maybe Sarah is the one that comes back to town to tell people, and that's going to cause so much other shit. I don't know. But let me know how you guys feel about this episode and just everything they got with Boyd's backstory, because I feel like it makes sense. Him being from the military, him already kind of having that built into him. But I'm excited for these last two episodes. I can't wait. Till next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.